Today we are answering the question, I live on Social Security and only get $750 a month. How am I supposed to stockpile and prep?
I love it the way she always looks at me to start it.
So here's the thing. Do not let a low income, or we got the comment yesterday, I'm a single mom and I live paycheck to paycheck. This isn't for me. This is actually more for you than someone who isn't living paycheck to paycheck. You need to be even more prepared. So,
because if you lose your job or something like that, you're just living on the edge, and
if you're that close to the edge, you have to start stockpiling and prepping. Now, we have a free stockpile ebook, cookbook that gives you things on how to stockpile. All of these ideas, a lot of these ideas are going to be in there as far as the food portion is concerned. It's in the description below. What are some things that we can do to stockpile when we are poor? Now, I lived on $300 a month. Mom lived on $750 a month. We know what poor is. We totally get it. Yet, we still had a stockpile. And how did you do it?
Well, what you do is, instead of looking at preppers that have walls with shelving of mounds of food and think, there's no way I can do that. No, I can't even do that. But what happens is you need to think small. All these things you can do small little steps. When you go to the grocery store, buy 1 or 2 cans extra of something. It doesn't even have to be something. Don't think expensive. If your family likes green beans, buy 2 extra cans of green beans. They aren't that much, that you can't, most people can't get the extra green beans.
The other day I went to the grocery store. They had pork and beans for 25 cents a can.
Yes. If nothing
buy them
else,
all.
Buy $1 worth of pork and beans. That's $1 extra you have to spend on
groceries. You can afford $1 extra.
Yeah, most people can. The other thing is, so start small and stock.
Just buy 1 or 2 things every time you go to the store.
Yeah, if you find something on clearance, buy extras of whatever that is on clearance, if you can. Now, the other thing, so the 2 main things is food and water. That's going to be the most crucial. And so water, people think, I can't afford to stockpile on water. I have never paid 1 penny in any way, shape, or form for bottled water, or to buy water of any sort. All what I ever do, I don't get jugs, plastic jugs, like if the kids drink pop for Christmas and they have extra 2-liter bottles, empty bottles of pop. Or my neighbor, she used to buy the tea in the half-gallon jugs, the plastic jugs, or some people buy juice. I'm not too afraid to say, I asked her, I said, can I have your empty bottle of tea thing, when you're done with it? She said, yeah, sure. She didn't want to mess with it in the trash can. It saved her. And so I would collect these empty bottles, 1 or 2 at a time. When I first moved into our house just a couple of months ago, I had nothing for bottled water. But I got about, almost 10 now since I moved in, just asking people for their empty 2-liter, and you fill it up with tap water. I am sorry. You don't need to spend money on these huge things of packets of bottled water. There's no way. Why are you doing that? And I was telling Tara, I did a little study on I've done it several times on bottled water. And now I'm using average prices. Please get this down. It's an average price. Where you live, it might be a little more. Where you live, it might be a little less. This is an average. But we had average price that bottled water compared to tap water cost anywhere from $9 to $6 a gallon. Now, I want that to sink in. Do you know how much you pay for milk? Do you know how much you pay for gas? And everybody's hollering about how expensive gas and milk is. And yet you go out on a weekly basis and pay $9 in some cases for a gallon of water, compared to tap water that you could get the same amount for like 20 cents or less.
Now, I know we're going to get that person, well, my water isn't drinkable. I have lived in places where you can't drink the water. I totally understand. We went to town and we filled it up at Mike's work. Every day he went to work, he would fill up another bottle of water. You can get a filter. If you just are on a well or something, you can get a filter. Well, you would already have a filter, I would think. But don't make excuses for not having drinkable tap water. 99% of the United States has drinkable tap water.
Now, and I want you to know too, they said they've done blind tests. I read several different places. They did blind tests because people say, oh, my bottled water tastes so much better than the tap water. But they did blind tests, and they said almost straight across the board that people couldn't tell the difference.
Well, most of it comes from tap water.
Yeah, they said 64% of the bottled water you buy comes from tap water. And if you are having a little bit of trouble with your water tasting, like when I first moved here to Wyoming, I wasn't used to the taste of the water. And it wasn't bad, it just I wasn't used to it. So I put my water in the refrigerator. By the next day, it's perfectly fine. Why bottled water, I've said this before, tends to taste better sometimes to people because it's been sitting on the shelf. And if you put tap water on the shelf for a while, it'll taste just like regular bottled water.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no reason to be spending.
Yeah.
They said it's the most ridiculous, and health-wise, they have now done studies. It's healthier to drink tap water than bottled water because there's some kind of a micro thing in the bottled water that is not good for you. And now they're saying you really should drink tap water because it's healthier for you.
Well, and so what we do is after we fill up our jugs, every 6 months, I just water my plants in April and I water my plants in September, and I just rotate
and refill them
the
up
water.
then. Yeah.
Just refill them up.
Yeah.
And what I would do is at the old house, the water was down in the basement. And so I would just have the kids one day all get in a line, and we'd all pass all the water bottles up, and then I'd water all the plants, and we'd fill them, and then we'd just pull them all back down. And it's not that hard. So,
So that's two of the main things is to start small and just start accumulating
using
stuff.
what you have. If you have food stamps, a lot of food stamps give you way more food stamps than you need. Use that to buy canned food for your prepping
Don't buy
instead of
steak.
wasting it.
Don't buy steak with those food stamps.
Yeah,
You know,
stop
and
buying
that
donuts.
expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, that's another thing. People buy coffee at work, or they buy, you know, like the donuts or those little tiny things. You can buy a lot of food with the amount of money you spend on those types of things.
Yeah, and so that's where you can get some of the food. The food banks, a lot of food banks will give you a ridiculous amount of food. And so if you have extra food from the food bank, use it for your stockpile. Family and friends.
Yeah.
If you're an older person, for Christmas, for your birthday, for Mother's Day, tell your kids, I would like to start a stockpile of food. I would like a gift card to Walmart so I can buy a stockpile of food.
A lot of times people have problems thinking of a gift for older people or anybody. Just tell them. And don't be embarrassed by it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would have no problem telling my kids, I want stockpile food this year. So you can either give me cash, or you can give me the food, or you could just go to Walmart and give me a gift card or whatever. I don't care. But that's another way. And then when you get extra little chunks of money, use that towards your stockpile. Even on disability, $300 a month, $750 a month, when we were living on that, you still got extra money from different places.
Yeah.
Selling things, unexpected rebates, unexpected tax refunds, unexpected birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, all of those kinds of things. Or maybe sometimes you'll just find a $50 bill laying on the road.
Instead of taking your tax money to go buy a couch
or new TV,
go and, you know, get the
use
food.
it to stockpile.
Food or something like that, toilet paper, whatever.
So if you are poor, I think it's even more imperative that you stockpile than if you were rich or middle class, because
you don't have anything.
If you don't have any, if you don't have any leeway
when a
at all,
disaster happens,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, because if you break your arm and you can't go to work, what are you going to do? And so, if you have a little bit more, usually you
can have something. Come and check out our 15 things to buy before hyperinflation hits. That's another tip. Get it while it's cheap now, instead of later. Visit us at livingonadime.com. Our free stockpile ebook is in the description below. We will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye, guys.